Hey, church family, I'm so glad that we can have a few moments together to reflect on Matthew's gospel lesson that we read today together and to talk about it. You know, it's interesting because in Matthew's gospel, Jesus was talking to the 12, and he's kind of giving them a warning that, you know what, I'm going to send you out. And it may not always be easy, and it may be difficult, and there may be some hardships. And so Jesus begins to talk about the biblical understanding of welcome and hospitality, and how important that was to all people in the Bible, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, and how critical that is as God's people. And Jesus says to the 12, whoever welcomes you welcomes me. And we need to remember that, because you know what? There are many doors that God is on the other side in, and God's love, but God's love is also on this side of the door. But how do we open the doors for people to be able to know that they can enter, and that they are welcome, and that they are accepted for who they are, and that they can come in and they can have a place at the table, and to be refreshed by the waters of new life, and to be claimed by God yet again, and to be reminded of that? We're called. We have a responsibility as disciples of Jesus, because this love that Jesus has for the entire world is so tall, so wide, so low, that we can't get around it no matter what. Our job is to not lock doors, but to unlock doors. Our job is to help open doors and say welcome. And that's one of the things I want us to remember about hospitality and welcoming as God's people. That's really important for us to do. It's our call. It's who we are. And sometimes, you know, as I look at this door here, you can see the glass. And sometimes there might be things that are standing in between people and God's love that we don't see. It may not be visible to us. It might be a little more subtle, like this glass door. We need to be aware of that. And how do we help remove those things that stand between God and God's love in all people? We are not the keepers of the door. Jesus is the gate to the sheep. Our job is to welcome, to show hospitality to the stranger, and to open the doors for all people. Welcome's an important thing. But what happens as a church? You know, I know we're not able to be together in physical space at this moment. But you know, it's interesting in this text. Ralph Jacobson talks about this text. And it's not about us being commanded to welcome. I mean, that's a piece of it. But there's also another piece to this. Jesus says, whoever welcomes you welcomes me. So we're also the one receiving the welcome. And the only way that we can do that is if we're willing to step out and to step up and to go and to be the church in the world, to be the voice, to be Jesus's hands and feet, to realize what Jesus told the disciples, that, hey, there may be hard times, that we could face hard times, but it's okay. Because whoever welcomes us in Jesus' name welcomes Jesus as well. And that love is so big that a door cannot stop God's love from flowing. A door cannot stop God's grace from showering and splashing and spilling all over us. You see, God's love is for all people, all of creation. Let the trees sing. Let the mountains shout. Let us remember we are part of God's welcome. don't you come on in?